Papa along with Van Stokes. Glad you can join us on the Sports Channel America Pro Boxing Tour. Our next bout of the evening, a junior lightweight for our next bout. And look at the reach advantage in favor of Bryant.
Well, it's a very balanced.
Sports Channel America's Pro Boxing Tour live from the Arco Arena in Sacramento. Ladies and gentlemen, this next match is scheduled for 4 rounds in the junior lightweight division. It is refereed by Pras Montano. Introducing first in the blue corner, he is from San Diego, California, weighing 128.5 pounds, with a record of 5 wins and 5 losses. Here's Lonny Bryant. Introducing now in the red corner, this young man is from Sacramento. He weighs 127 pounds, with a record of 2 wins and no losses. Here's Rudy Aguero.
Aguero turned pro January of 1987, but he only has 2 pro fights, and he spent a little time out of the ring.
A little bit, I would say. You know, Lovato told me that he had had 2 bouts since July, right when he turned pro, and this was his 3rd bout. He said, I'm very hungry, but now can you imagine just how hungry Aguero must be?
Well, Aguero had a little bit of trouble with the law, and he is trying to get back into the ring and get his ring career going. An extensive amateur career, 68-6 for Aguero, and Bryant also a very, very, very long and impressive amateur career.
Well, you know, you can spend a lot of time in the amateur ranks, as we've said. Bryant apparently had spent a long time in the amateur ranks. He was a New York Golden Gloves champ in 1983, Jersey Golden Gloves champ, and a champion in the Empire State Games in '83. Over 140 amateur bouts.
Bryant wearing the black trunks, Aguero wearing the red. Referee is Pras Montano. Scheduled for 4. But as pros, Aguero 2-0. Bryant just 5-5. Bryant now fights out of San Diego.
Aguero moving very well, though. He's shown a good ability to cover up and block the shots of Bryant. Bryant seems, though, like he's trying to deliver Bob with a good, strong uppercut. Aguero definitely on the aggressive here.
Bryant backing away. If Bryant wins, and you have to interview him, Van, I want you to ask him what that GQ on his trunks means.
Well, he has to be able to speak to me first, Bob. But so far, he's in pretty good shape, and he's holding his own very well right now against Rudy Aguero.
But I tell you what, Bryant looks tired already.
He does.
Gasping for air.
He does look tired. One of the things that I've seen thus far in Aguero that is a pleasing thing to see, and that's this look of determination. Aguero looks like a very focused boxer at this particular point.
And you see Bryant gasping for air. He looks a little thick around the waist. Does Bryant. He backs away.
Now, you see Bryant backing up, but I don't think he's backing up with a purpose other than to stay out of the reach, or the power, I should say, of Rudy Aguero. Now, that's not a bad reason to back up, don't get me wrong. It's just that that's not going to win you many bouts.
We now pause for a regional break. You're watching the Sports Channel America Pro Boxing Tour. We welcome you back to Sacramento, California. The bell sounds to start round number 2. Lonny Bryant in the black trunks, Rudy Aguero in the red trunks. The referee is Pras Montano.
Now here's where ring savvy can come into play, Bob. If Rudy Aguero is smart, he'll move inside, he'll cut the ring off on Bryant, and he'll deliver inside. Go up to the head, rip him right up the middle, so to speak. Bryant, on the other hand, if he's smart up there in the ring, he won't allow that to happen.
Well, Bryant just nailed Aguero with a good left hand. We mentioned in round number 1, Bryant appeared to get winded very easily. Now, his last fight was February of this year. February of 1989 in Monterrey, Mexico. He lost a 6-round decision to George Garcia. So Bryant has his own share of ring rust.
Right now, though, Bryant is moving around that ring almost more than anyone we've seen tonight. Two things can happen. Number one, you're off balance and you can't deliver an effective punch. And then number two, you can just walk into one yourself.
Saw Bryant's customary gasp for air on that break.
Rudy Aguero is a quick young boxer, though, Bob. He may not have a lot of experience in the pro ring, but he's very quick, not flashy, moves to the body extremely well.
And that's a key when you know you're fighting a guy who might not be in the best of shape. Hit him in the body. And that's what Aguero did to Bryant.
Well, he's going to the body in hopes that the hands will fall, and then if the hands fall, it's upstairs, and then that could be all she wrote. Aguero also looks like he's in pretty good condition up there. He's got the stamina and the power to go along with him. But he called a good one on upside the head that time, a fine shot by Bryant.
Bryant snuck in a left there, but really didn't phase Aguero.
Bryant's going to sneak in his share of punches, but the question is, can he sneak in all those punches that he needs to dominate or control this bout?
Well, he landed a clubbing right there and a straight right earlier, but Aguero just comes right back at him. 30 seconds to go in round number 2, scheduled for 4 in the junior lightweight division. Rudy Aguero in the red, Lonny Bryant in the black.
Aguero knows one direction, that's straight ahead. Moving
We
into
now
this man
pause
box.
for a regional break. You're watching the Sports Channel America Pro Boxing Tour. And bell sounds to start round number 3. The referee Pro Spontano stops the clock and starts it again. Lonny Bryant a little bit slow getting out of his corner. He is wearing the black trunks. Rudy Aguero wearing the red. Scheduled for 4, and man, how have you seen it so far?
Well, thus far, I like Aguero, but I am afraid that I only like him by a couple of points, and Aguero has just shown me more aggressiveness, more desire, perhaps more innate ability up there than I've seen out of Lonny Bryant.
Well, Aguero has not fought in some time. His last bout was in August. He turned pro in 1987. He is just 2-0. Bryant has not fought since February. He is 5-5.
You know, that works a couple of different ways. You take a boxer who hasn't fought a long time, and if he's a young boxer like Rudy Aguero, sometimes he can't wait to get back in that ring. And like you said earlier, some of the reasons that they may not have been in the ring are reasons, well, beyond their control sometimes.
Well, Aguero did fight, as we mentioned, in August, and I think he's only 21. Bryant is 26. It appears that Aguero is a little bit more serious about a boxing career than Bryant because he's just come into the ring in better shape.
Very fine right hand by Rudy Aguero. Well, then there's the other thing, too, the records. 5-5 versus 2-0. When you're 2-0, you're undefeated. I don't care if you're 2-0. You're 5-5, you're batting 500. And you've won as many as you've lost, Bob. I would say right now, if Rudy Aguero could put it together, Lonny Bryant will be in trouble.
Bryant backed up against the ropes, trying to fight off. Aguero missed with an uppercut. And now Bryant ties him up and takes a shot to his back, and Pro Spontano warns him, the referee.
Very interestingly, though, Lonny Bryant apologized to Aguero for that. He said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit you behind the back there like that." But it was a smart move by Bryant to tie up over there in the corner. Fine left hand by Lonny Bryant.
But Aguero kept coming back at him. Round number 3, scheduled for 4. These are junior lightweights. Lonny Bryant in the black, Rudy Aguero in the red. Aguero fighting in his hometown of Sacramento. Bryant scores with another left.
Bryant's scoring. I'm not going to say Bryant is ineffective up there at all, Bob. He is scoring, but I'm not for sure he's scoring as effective as Rudy Aguero is, nor is he scoring as much.
Final seconds in round number 3. Bryant against Aguero here on the Sports Channel Pro Boxing Tour. Fourth and final round of this bout. Lonny Bryant in the black trunks, Rudy Aguero stumbling back in the red.
Stumbling back, but he seems to regain his composure just a little bit. Lonny Bryant received good guidance from his coach, Billy Moore, the son of Archie Moore. He was told simply, come in with the hook and double up, and that's what he's trying to do right now.
Billy Moore also said another interesting thing to Lonny Bryant. He says you have to throw more punches in this round than you threw the whole fight.
Well, you know why he said that. It's now or never right now for Lonny Bryant. But I will say this, Lonny Bryant right now is coming out and thus far fighting the best round that he's fought so far in this bout tonight. If Lonny had to come out early on, Bob, and initiated that plan and stuck to it, he could have been in control of this bout. As it is, he's fighting on the backside right now.
I personally don't think he had the stamina to come out and fight that way, though. He just does not look in shape.
Well, if he does, how do you get the stamina? I mean, how can he come out here in round number 4? Then again, he could have spent it all early and not had the stamina to be here. So there's a couple of different ways to look at that. But I will say this, Lonny Bryant is carrying those gloves down below his waist. He's backing up, once again, not necessarily with a purpose, but to stay out of the way.
Neither fighter has recorded a knockout in their career. Aguero in the red, 2-0. Bryant in the black trunks, 5-5.
Rudy Aguero has regained his composure from the opening seconds of this round in very, very fine shape and is coming back now on the aggressive, showing Lonny Bryant his arsenal.
Under a minute to go in the fourth and final round. Aguero in the red, Bryant in the black. Pros Montano, the referee, separates the fighters.
Bryant really tired now, throwing off balance, not effective with that hook. Aguero smelling it, moving in against the ropes.
25 seconds to go in the fight. Good left by Aguero.
Aguero still has that power deep into the final stanza. Bryant does not have that power, and perhaps Bryant didn't even bring that power to the ring to begin with, Bob.
Well, when it was most important, Rudy Aguero took the fight to Lonny Bryant. Wade out and Stokes back at the Arco Arena in Sacramento. And let's send it up to our ring announcer with the decision. Here's Jim Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. All 3 judges scoring at 40-36. Winner by unanimous decision, still undefeated, Rudy Aguero.
And Rudy Aguero is now 3-0. He wins in front of his hometown fans, a unanimous decision over Lonny Bryant here in Sacramento, California, for the 21-year-old Sacramento native.
1989 has been a pretty quiet year in boxing, but it could end with a bang this week when Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard meet for the 3rd time, nearly a decade after their last meeting. You remember that one. That's the one where Duran said, "No mas," and walked out of the ring and left Leonard and 80,000 people in the Superdome in New Orleans with their mouths on the floor. Nobody knew what had happened. Well, they're going to fight again this week. They're calling it Uno Mas. And even though the men are a lot older, Leonard's 33, Duran is 38, the matchup could still be a good one because there's still a lot of animosity between these two fighters. And also, there's still a bad taste left in the mouths of a lot of people over the way that last fight ended. Right now, Leonard's a 2-1 favorite. But a year ago, he might have been as much as 10-1, considering the way Duran had looked against some pretty weak opposition. But in the past 6 months, things have changed drastically. There's a couple of big question marks in everybody's mind. First of all, was that the real Sugar Ray Leonard we saw getting beaten and dropped to the canvas twice by Tommy Hearns in June? I don't know how much is left in Sugar Ray, but that night he looked like just a cheap sugar substitute. The other question is, can Roberto Duran possibly raise himself up physically and mentally the way he did when he beat Iran Barkley for the WBC middleweight title in February? If he can do that, and if Leonard is as shot as he looked against Hearns, this could be even better than their first two matchups. Right now, I visited both men in camp this past week, and I can tell you this. They're both in shape. They're both saying the things they should be saying at this point. They're both doing the things they should be doing. The guy who's got me convinced, though, is Sugar Ray. He says that the Hearns fight was really a mental lapse, not a physical one, and that he'll be able to overcome it this week. Who am I to argue with the man who came back after a 5-year layoff and beat Marvin Hagler? Right now, I'll give a shaky pick for Sugar Ray Leonard by decision in a very tough fight. I'll be back next week with a post-fight report. Till then, that's out.